Hello, welcome to my SOTA104 presentation. For this task, I was given the profile of Harry, who is a career-focused detective who's well liked by his peers, but is hiding an unknown vice. So the environment first begins with a simple corridor, and then on the right-hand side over here, there is Harry's office. So because Harry is very dedicated to his career, he doesn't have much time to keep his office clean, and therefore there are a lot of things just left about, and there are also boxes containing case files scattered everywhere, even in the bathroom. One thing that I thought of when creating this environment is actually the contrast between the harsh blue light of the monitor and this yellow light, which creates kind of a difference between the work area and then a more cozy environment. Also, Harry has a lot of trophies and various diplomas to show off his achievement, with a bronze trophy hidden over here. Because Harry is so dedicated to his work, he also continues to look at things containing various case information even while falling asleep, as he doesn't have enough time to go home every day. And there's a small kitchen area over here, sectioned off. Over here there is a safe that if I attempt to open, it doesn't do anything. However, I can go over here, pick up this key, and then open the safe, which reveals that the way that Harry manages to cope with such long working hours is that he uses drugs, which, if this was discovered by his colleagues, would be devastating for his career. So, this is basically the entirety of the environment. I created a kind of semi-advanced texture material for the floor and various other parts that have these two parameters that allow you to control scaling in both directions, which is very useful when you're applying it onto large surfaces. Then the way that the door and pickup logic works is that we have a simple interact function in the player character that shoots out a ray, and we check if any of the objects that it collides with implement the interact blueprint interface, and then if they do, we basically play a timeline and then use a lerp to go between two different rotations. So that's this for the normal door. Then for the safe door, it is the same thing. However, we first check if the player has picked up the key, and then the key flips a Boolean variable after it has been picked up and then destroys itself. So the office itself was first blocked out in Unreal Engine, and then I used those various blocks placed in Unreal Engine to then figure out the rough dimensions and then create a office model in Blender. So here are the various walls and the floors and the trim that are separated between each other. I also measured them all out, so all of these doorways are the exact dimension needed, so that if this were implemented in a proper game, there wouldn't be any sort of clipping issues. And then the way I made these kind of panel holders on the ceiling is I used an inset operation per face in order to quickly create these holes within every segment. And then after creating all of this, I then UV unwrapped these models, because by default, if you attempt to use materials on them, they break. So for example, I had to manually unwrap this bottom bathroom segment so that these tiles used over here would properly tile, and it looks pretty good in my opinion. So yeah, thank you for listening.